Okay, fellas and ladies and gents and all that kind of stuff, we are headed towards Poe Creek here. It's right after we left off on that other video, and the rain ain't too bad right now. But remember, that's a big, dark cloud that was hanging over us. You'll start hearing hail hit a little bit here and there on my helmet, and it never gets better. It is a thunderstorm. If you listen real closely, you'll hear the thunder. And in the mountains, man, that thing echoes down through the mountains like nobody's business. The fog on my GoPro 2 is due because the temperature is dropping extremely fast. We go from comfortable to having ice on our legs being stacked up on because it was so much at one time. But that's later on in the video. However, I was told by my wife that I am driving too slow and nobody's going to want to watch it if I drive this slow. Well, I take that into consideration, and this is the fix. Look on your YouTube right below the screen. It'll have a little gear, and it says normal speed, 1.5 speed, and two times the speed. If you click on that, then you can speed it up to whatever you desire and what you want to watch. This trail goes all the way down to Poe Creek, and if we were to keep going, it'd go to Stony Pass. Of course, it's raining, we're not going to do it. But at this creek too, or actually right before you get there, you can take a left, and as you look across right now, you see where the river keeps going. Well, that takes you over to Beartown and Kite Lake. You can then walk all the way up to the Continental Divide. It's very pretty. They have a lake up there, or a little pond, or whatever you want to call it. It is dark blue. We chunked a big old rock, and we watched it go down at least 80 feet. It's just dark blue water up there in the mountains. You'd never think you'd see it. But that's if you take a left. Well, we just go down here to Poe Creek, and we cross that. Coming up on Poe Creek here, this hill going down into it, part of the mountain, is very steep. I know it may not look like it. The video camera does not give it justice as far as how steep it is. But you can tell I'm way ahead as far as elevation on my buddy there. When we hit Poe Creek, of course it is up and running, plus the rain, so it's a lot of fun. We enjoy that. we're going along here, and we think it's going to be lighter because it's bright, and the cloud that was over us is more or less off to our left as you're looking right now. But that's not the case. It starts getting harder, and the pellets of ice start getting bigger. In the next 5 minutes, I have ice built up on my legs, and of course we were not using our wet rain suits. It was supposed to be a quick run and back. But as you'll see, it starts to hail in pretty good, and it was very, very cold. As you can see here, the hail has picked up and it's starting to fall a little bit more heavier, and it just keeps getting worse. Going back down in the next, I think, 5 or 10 minutes, it starts to thunder quite a bit. Right now, as we go up to the top of this mountain, or this part of the mountain, we're probably around 11,000 feet. That's a good guess because our camp is at 10,000, and we're quite a bit above that on this run right here. Nevertheless, like I said, it keeps getting colder. Where I'm telling you to look there is, I don't know if you could see it previously, but that mountaintop, which is a very tall peak, was covered in snow just from this little storm that we were in. There's another point, you barely see it there, but there's another point that we get to that you might be able to see a little bit better picture of it. But it covered the whole mountaintop with snow. I looked to the right there, and it was snowing and hailing at the same time. I've never seen that in my entire life. But leave it up to the Colorado Rockies, it happened. It doesn't show it, in the video here, but I was quite flabbergasted, I guess you could say, that it was snowing and hailing at the same time. As we go down the pass back towards base camp, it turns to rain. Right ahead of here, you'll see where there's a ton of hail on the ground, but, well, I say a ton, quite a bit of hail on the ground, and it starts to rain, turns into rain, excuse me. And that makes it fun going down the pass that we have to go down, that we came up, and you'll see the water is rushing down it here in just a few minutes. I tried to give you a little peek of the snow. I don't know if you can see it up there now, but it was awesome seeing that. Boy from Texas seeing all that snow on the mountain, and we're in the rain. So as you'll see, as I was talking about earlier, the water starts running down through this pass, and it gets pretty slippery. Videos, and I watch a lot of videos of the mountains. That's what we like. Some guys like mudding, and some guys like trail riding. Well, this part of the pass right here is steep, and the cameras just don't do it justice. Looking at it right now, and from this point of view, it doesn't look all that bad. But when you got water rushing down it, and it is steep, you can mess up real quick, and either hurting your bike or yourself. Both Greg and I here have 22-inch tall tires on our ATVs, which helps with the clearance. Otherwise, you'd hear us clanking up against these rocks and tearing stuff up. But nevertheless, those 22-inch tires do pretty well on those sport ATVs. like I've said in my other videos, we've been coming up to Colorado and going through this pass many a times, and not once have I ever had a stream running down it. A lot of rain, and made for fun. I actually enjoyed it. You know, I was already soaking wet from head to toe, and that's nothing but our own fault because we didn't put our rain suits on, and we went and was having a blast, and next thing you know, we're just freezing. It's so cold up there with that rain. We're probably at this point right around 10:05 as we go back down towards base camp. Here's where you can see some of the ice, and of course the ruts. They can, with all that water running in them, they just get worse. As you can see right there, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get face plant in the mud, and I don't want that to happen. This part of the trail here really is steep. You can't tell it, but if you look off to the right, you can see how steep it is there, and also going down it. The fact that the rocks are wet and we're sliding, the camera just does not do it justice. It's really pretty through here, but you have to be careful. It can throw you off the mountain anytime if you don't pay attention. The rocks really are bigger than what they look. One quick note, I drove my dune buggy up this, and that right there, about there where that rock was, I broke my steering box and had to try to make it up to this little point right there on the right. It was quite the deal when you're going up that and have your steering box break on your dune buggy. Unfortunately here, the battery on my GoPro goes down. As we get further down the pass, we can go faster because the storm didn't make it back to base camp, and we sped up quite a bit, but sorry about that. Hope y'all enjoyed the video.